Peace. Today is December the 20th. Making today's math 2-0, which is wisdom cipher. And wisdom is right discernment. For lack of better terms or simpler terms, it is making judgment calls. It is the applying the knowledge of right and wrong. Um, um, to be wise is to not only have the knowledge, but to utilize the knowledge in your everyday life, your everyday decisions, for the betterment of yourself and your cipher. Um, the total math for today, would be 9 or born. And to go from knowledge born or from knowledge to born, that is to go from knowledge is the mind and born is the physical manifestation. So to bring your thoughts to life or your dreams or aspirations, the your vision, to manifest that in real time, to be able to tangibly touch, feel, smell, enjoy the life that you dream for yourself. The first thing or the first step after receiving the knowledge is to apply it in everything that you do, in an attempt to gain, again, like I say, the understanding. And from the understanding that you gain, you make this into a habit or a way of life, which is the culture, which is aimed at freedom or the ability to think for oneself. And in this way of life, we find power. This power comes from the truth because we have taken this knowledge of self and we've used it as the measurement, the ruler, the gauge for which we base all of our decisions on. And based on the understanding of that exercise of wisdom or discernment, we can see or understand which is to see with the mind, a clear picture of what has transpired and what we should maybe do differently next time, or even do the same or do better. And this, of course, becomes, like I say, the way of life, which is aimed at freedom, but rooted in power. The power that this is rooted in is like when you join a mosque or a temple or any organization that is supposed to, that your subscription to this nation is supposed to grant you divine favor. It usually comes by means of actions, living in accordance with whatever tenets are of that faith or that nation. And even when you don't choose to subscribe to anything, like myself, you still fall victim to having to choose which tenets you subscribe to, like whether or not you want to stand for freedom, justice, and equality, or if you are focused on self. And once you actually get to know self, you are focusing on yourself is focusing on not only yourself as far as you, but also yourself that is external to you, because again, like I said, we are all connected. Um, but this power that we get from the way of life is because of how closely we come to truth. The truth that we know, that is the knowledge, that is the seed that was planted in the first step. Now we've seen the fruit from this tree. It has come into fruition in the way that we live, and we have shown and proved that the knowledge was true, because we got the knowledge, we used the knowledge, we got an understanding that became a way of life, and then we found power in our way of life based on our understanding of exercising the knowledge. Um, but then once we get this power must be used first of all to find equality within self, but also, like I said, the self is one with everything. So to find or to try to maintain or to restore balance to anything that seems to be out of balance that is within your cipher that you could play a hand in. Um, and in doing so, we come to the next step, which, or the next degree, which will be God's self. Seeing that not only are we connected, but we play a major hand in our own reality. And of course, there are some overlapping ciphers, but everybody has their own cipher, their own sphere of influence. Um, but also, in doing so, we understand that the next degree is build and destroy. So we understand that, again, just using our wisdom from the second degree, um, that we now have the power to either add on to the cipher or take away from the cipher, but both can be used for the betterment of the cipher, depending on what is being destroyed and what is being built. But that is when the wisdom comes in, where we have to make the right discernment or the decision to decide whether or not adding something would be good for the cipher or bad for the cipher, and if taking away something will be good for the cipher or bad for the cipher. Because in their own self, the eighth degree, build and destroy, is neutral. And we decide whether or not the positive or the negative comes out. Like I believe it was Darkham B. Allah said, each atom is made up of protons and electrons, which means everything has a polarity. There's a positive and a negative literally to everything. Not even in the figurative sense of the word, but atomically, everything has a positive and a negative in it. Which again, I say is just a ripple of the one truth permeating through whatever new discoveries man or mind seems to make about this reality. And of course, the ninth degree, once we realize we play a hand in what is being built and being destroyed, then we understand that we also play a hand in what is made manifest after the building or the destruction. And all of this is coming from knowledge to born. This is how we make knowledge born. But like I said, the next step after 19 will be 20, which is Wisdom Cipher, which is today. But also the letter for today, based off what I've been doing, is Q, or Queen, which, like I said a few days ago, going on the actual, like today being the 20th, the 20th letter is actually T. I know yesterday I said V for victory, which part of self, was incorrect. It was actually S, for self or savior, because only you can save yourself. And today T is truth or square, because in architectural engineering, or like drawing schematics, they use what is called a T-square, that allows you to draw lines that are perpendicular to the canvas. or at a right angle to the canvas on which you are drawing. Um, and in that sense, or in a sense, truth is this T squared that we use to make right things that are seemingly perpendicular to the canvas, which is our life. When things are out of whack or going against what our culture of life has been, then we need to decide or make this discernment of whether or not this is something that needs to be added to or taken away from the cipher in order to better it and to better ourselves. Um, but as far as my letters for today, as far as when I started, I believe it was on the 4th, we are on Queen, which is Q, which is the female or the divine feminine that rules, that has the force, the power, that has uh, I don't know, like I said, everything is polarity. So the queen would be the feminine ruler, like I said, the feminine principle of whatever you're looking at, as far as metaphysics. But just as far as queens go, um, I know Brother Polite believes that black women are God. I personally don't see in colors, but I do believe that it's not even separate but equal. Because to me, the best feminine and the best masculine come out of when two good feminine, or two when a good feminine and a good masculine get together and amplify each other, um, which is the sun and the moon, the yin and the yang, where they work. They're good in their own right, but they are best when they are together. Um, which is whether you want to look at this as just your own feminine side and being in touch with emotions and feelings, um, or your deep desires as far as what the moon represents, or if you want to look at this as yourself as a queen, or as a man looking at your woman as a queen. The point as a queen is to elevate and to show the authority over that which the queen rules. And you are the queen of your cipher. And if you happen to be a man with a woman like myself, if you're a king, that make your woman a queen. And if she was a queen when you met her and you wasn't on it, she really was a queen, and she put your throne on your head. Um, but we must continue to crown each other, and uplift one another, just as, or compliment one another, just as the divine feminine and masculine work in harmony, which is what I believe we are being reminded of today, based on, like I said, the way I've been introducing the letters. I plan on doing some kind of like article, and definitely a video, that'll be like downloadable content, maybe even through my Patreon, or just personally, just like hit me up if you want the information, and I can just send you the video through your email or however you want to do it. But I will get all of that constructed. As for now, the Supreme Mathematics 101 will be held on the 1st of the month. Right now, the first one is, of course, January 1st at 5 p.m. Also, my sister, I am Brittany Gale, has it's the 12 days of ascension, and we are on, don't get me to telling the story, like day 8 or 9 by now. She started on the 12th. Today's is so 8. Yeah, I think 8 or 9. But doing a meditation, and just a building afterwards, that I think it's needed. Like the coming together. Like I said, when this math and these letters were taught, they were taught in a way that you got something and you got something, so that way y'all could come together and then build on it. But peace, wisdom to all those who choose to cipher. Y'all have a good one.